The birds all flew off on this one. At 100 mile an hour, half of them did anyway. When the man comes around.
Environmentally green-friendly, doomsday type structure that somebody can invest in, use it as a second home, that also happens to be a world-class nuclear-hardened bunker.
Yeah. You know the saying, you're best to be prepared than not prepared. So isn't it a little crazy to, or actually big crazy, to not be prepared at all when you can be? Now, if you got money and you can do it, then do it. Definitely, if it's got a possibility that it can happen, right? You shouldn't gamble all the time. People that gamble all the time will talk like that, right? But being safe is a good thing, right? As we do live on a world that can have asteroids. Now that scenario is a small one when we see it come in, and in some of those scenarios it wouldn't matter what bunker you got. Right? Same with solar flares, they can go down within 100 kilometres. You've seen the knowing, right? It all depends on how bad of a solar flare and all that kind of stuff. And we can only prepare so much. And people waste money all the time. You waste your extra money to make you feel good, like going out. Some people can spend hundreds of dollars a day just by going out, right? When they could just have the same meal at home and do a little effort themselves. They want to sit around, talk, and have all these things handed to them. And when you do that, it costs money, right? And so what they're doing is a good thing. I'll always go thumbs up on it. I'm not saying that everyone should do it, but in a small scale, you could, right? Everyone does it in a small scale. You don't need such a big scale one like that to have to maintain it. Everyone can maintain their own one. And when you set up a small scale system where you prepare yourself, you can still use it as a room. Like that building could be used if people want to go there and use it as a hotel and so on. And the store food before it goes to off, you eat it. So nothing gets wasted and everything gets refreshed. It's a system that if you keep to a routine, it's quite simple to have it, and then you're prepared for it. It's like being prepared for an earthquake. Why right now China's building earthquake buildings, and some builders would go, I'm not building an earthquake building here in Australia. More likely you're not going to have one, which is true if you want to take that risk, but we do have them too, and they will come one day, right? And it's up to you for what risk you want to take. But in China, they happen a lot, and so it's wise to start now, and it took them a while, but they're getting more of them, right? And with big buildings, to build buildings that perhaps take earthquakes, right? And they actually worked that out a long time ago, if you keep your mind to it and do it right, about building anything that can make it work with the materials you've got. Right? What do I mean by that? Well, the Chinese, they built a building without a nail, so it's all joins like a puzzle. Slight join. And because they did that, that building always withstands their earthquakes. Amazing, eh? Because the joins allow like a puzzle a little bit, to shake and move. It's not 100% fixed like a steel beam or concrete, and if they get damaged or by the shaking, which is concrete cracking and break, or steel too much wobbling the steel, it breaks too many bends, right? It gives out. And on the pressure of the steel, it just suddenly give out. And so they're not good at all to have around, is it? And so it's good to have a building that maybe not as strong and all that kind of stuff, but yet it's still functional, it's still what it needs to be, and it'll always be around no matter what happens. That's the goal you want. Huh? So when it comes to building a structure with wood in an environment, and if you soak that wood with, you can soak that stuff down with fire retardant stuff. You can turn wood into fireproof stuff, definitely wood because it soaks too. And so if you did that, right, with the new technology now, with another upgrade and that design, that building, you know, it might not get as big as the big buildings, but at least it'll be around through all environments. That big, you know, big fire comes through, you've seen them, it'll burn that building down, right? An earthquake comes, it'll knock that building down. So bigger wasn't greater, was it? It's about how you use it, right? Like that Chinese building I'm trying to talk about that's still around. It's good for its environment. It hadn't had a fire yet, so it's lucky in that part. But if it got the extra upgrade, right, that'll be a really tough building to withstand the environments, right? I don't know how good it goes with the wind, but if it holds up with a lot of the other things, it usually go good. But usually they can move, and it's pretty strong as long as the wind can't snap the stick, right? But it can do its thing like a tree. They can go so far. Everything goes so far, and then there's a breaking point. But I'd be curious. I wonder how that building would handle wind. As far as I know, it handles it quite well because they do have a lot of big winds in China. But do you know what I mean when it comes to all that? I hope you do, because the other people who are talking, who like to do things for money and likes, are being the gullible kid, like the one calling Little Dicky. They're being that. Hey, Little Dicky. Mom, my daddy said this. My government said this. Remember, you always upscale everything? My business, my boss said this. So I'm going with it. Little Dicky. I know I'm not right, but I'm cool, aren't I, Little Dicky? You know what I mean? Have a good one, and see you later.